how do you stay the course? How do you continue to stop out,
Mm-hmm.
and you're going to miss trades, and that's why I call myself MissTrade. You're not going to get the move down when it comes on everything.
Mm-hmm.
How do you deal? How do you deal with that as a trader?
Yeah, well, doing the blog is sort of an interesting positive and a negative to it. The positive to it is that it's sort of like the collective mind. You're in a group, and you're leading the group, and you're looked to as some kind of authority.
Right.
And I assure you that I put more thought into my trades and what I'm talking about than if it were just me alone and nobody knew what I was doing. Because you don't want to look like an idiot. I mean, it's not my bag to look like an idiot. And so I try to say things and do things that are explainable. So the positive is it makes you more thoughtful. The negative is that we're humans and we make mistakes and we're wrong easily as often as we're right. And you do look foolish a lot of the time. And I've learned to temper my sort of banging fist on the table. Like the following is definitely going to happen. In fact, today I went to a blog that I like and admire that made, like, this is the top in gold. And I just sort of cringe because, like, there's very little to be gained from that.
Yeah.
Because if you're right, maybe you can point back to it later. But if you're wrong, everyone loves to get the drum out and beat it and draw attention to it.
Yeah.
And slam you for it.
Yeah, and again, today I was short gold. I was short about 1180. I got stopped out at 1192, and I'll get back in it. But all week I made more than I lost today, so that's the way I look at it. It's like that. I was shorting it, making money, shorting it, making money. I can't explain the move today, but I'm not going to fight it either. I'll take my losses and via options and back spreading. I can do a lot of creative things, but I think you're absolutely right. Part of the reason why I'm doing this series and talking about and with traders about trading is that we're all, as you said, we're all humans. We all have these emotions, and battling and dealing with that is really what I'm trying to get at. And how do you keep functioning and dealing with those flamers that come onto your blog? You said you mentioned this earlier off camera. You're really good at dealing with that. How do you deal with that? Because it's kind of hysterical, watching the people come on. Hey, Tim, you're a bozo. You're wrong again. The market's going up. How does your psyche deal with that?
Yeah.
Athletes have to deal with it all the time. And so what is it in you that makes you, again, persist and go on with what you think is right?
Well, it's not because I'm insensitive. I'm actually a little too sensitive. It bothers me when people make sport of something I've said, because my intent is always a decent one.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to trick or fool anybody. There's no ulterior motive to say something I don't believe for money or anything like that. My view of human nature is generally that people are good. And my doing the blog has affirmed that, because doing this for 5 years and 10,000 posts, the vast majority, 99% plus, are thoughtful, honorable, grateful, and kind. And that's sort of how I view what I would expect.
Right.
There's that other fraction 1% that are just jerks. And for some people, I mean, it's very easy to kick somebody when either they're down or when they've said something that didn't pan out. Some people get a charge out of making others look foolish or to point and laugh. The thing that I've done to insulate myself from that is really about culture on the blog. I think people have come to understand over time that that's pointless prodding like that just won't be tolerated. Some blogs simply will ban anyone that isn't supportive.
Yeah.
I'm not into that.
Yeah.
There are some people who are so obnoxious and offensive and won't stop that they get banned because they're jerks. But there are plenty of very consistent folks who come to my blog who very much disagree with what's being said and are bulls to the max and so forth. And I think it harms everyone, including me, to just click block and be done with them. I'd much rather have divergent points of view and a general understanding that this isn't a place where we just are after yes men.
Right.
As far as I deal with it personally, it does bother me a little bit. I just try not to seek those things out. I know the places where I'm not liked, and I don't make a point of checking them out every day to see what nasty things they're saying about me. It's not going to do me any good.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's always the best way. You go back to basic playground rules that you're taught. Stay away from the bully. They got their own issues. Otherwise, they wouldn't be bullying. So
that's right.
But I'm always curious to ask other writers because hey, I've been doing the same thing 5-6 years, putting myself out there. I wrote with Peter Navarro. I wrote during the at the end of the first downdraft there, 2002 and 3 with him, and then started my hedge fund, and then wrote again when I closed it because for me it's cathartic and it's a release, and it is community. Trading can be very lonely, and how do you deal? And I think I would hope that's, as you said, what you're getting out of that is that community and shared experience, whether agreed or disagreed. We can agree to disagree on things.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's funny because I've always been very comfortable with solitude. I don't mind. I don't get bothered by feeling lonely, nor do I have the blog as a place to feel part of a crowd. The value of that crowd for me is that there isn't any other blog I can think of where that scope of individuals convenes. And so I've never really seriously considered stopping Slope of Hope, but on the rare occasions that I have, it's a big loss for me too, because I wouldn't know where else to go to sort of get the insights that I do from those people there. And, I've worked for years to build a culture there, and so the blog has a momentum of its own, and I get very guilty if tomorrow's Thanksgiving. I assure you that I will be doing at least one post tomorrow. Same for Christmas Day, same for New Year's Eve, and the rest of it. I feel a real sense of obligation to the people there, and I don't know when it'll end, but it's 5 years going now, and I don't see any terminus.